Welcome to AI Marketing, a podcast for sales and marketing professionals that want to increase their sales, leads, and conversions through the use of artificial intelligence solutions. And now, here's your host, Mark Fidelman.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to AI Marketing. Today, we have a guest that's going to talk to us about GPU alternative investments, which include GPUs. I'm not quite sure yet. His name is Nikolay Filichkin. Hopefully I pronounced that correctly, and he'll correct me if we don't. But before we jump into this very exciting topic, I'm personally excited about it because I like crypto, I like tokenization, and I like AI. So do you want to, why don't you give us like a 30-second intro of yourself, Nikolay, before we jump in?
Yeah. Thank you for having me, Mark. I'm really excited to talk about this with you. My name is Nikolay. I am co-founder and chief business officer at Compute Labs. Compute Labs, we are a relatively young startup. We've been around for just about a year. And our whole business is on one side, we help data center operators get capital to scale their business. But on the other side, what we're really doing is allowing investors the ability to invest in GPUs or compute products as a new emerging asset class. Um, and the reason why that's so important is because, well, everybody knows that AI is growing as this massive industry. We're all talking about it, we're all using it. There's this big explosion in everybody's head about it, and it's great. But people don't know how to invest into it. They know that they can invest in NVIDIA. They know that they can invest into some AI companies out there that might be public. Um, but there's really no way of getting direct access into the growth of the compute space. And that's where we help them with.
Okay, and then how do you help them get into the space? How does that work?
Yeah, sure. So, I mean, the first part is, of course, a lot of market education. So we definitely help with the education piece of what it means to invest into a GPU or compute asset. But the way we do that is through our platform, where we will present a specific GPU offer. That will have a offer with where the GPU will be housed or hosted by, and who's the end customer. And other details, of course, that are important, like what is the total capital expense of that deal cluster? Is that a one server cluster of H200s, or is that a 200 server cluster of B200s, or is that a 50 server cluster of 4090s? That's the first type of information. Like, what is that specific asset? How large of it are we talking about? What's the capital amount that's needed to fund that type of deal? Then the other details are like, what are the operational expenses? For some data centers, for example, in the Netherlands, they can be quite expensive, like maybe 15 cents a kilowatt hour. In other regions, it could be pretty affordable, like 6 cents a kilowatt hour, depending on a significant amount of variables. Um, and then after that, we offer them information on what is the projected revenue and what will be the net projected revenue minus all the OpEx. With that in mind, once everything looks good to them, we allow them to fund the deal where the investment vehicle that they receive, technically, it is a share to an SPV that holds rights to the GPUs. But really what they're getting is a NFT or a GPU NFT representing ownership of that asset. So it's one NFT backed by one GPU. I know I talked a lot there. I hope that answers that question.
Yeah, but the GPU could be what, H100 H200? There's many types of GPUs. How do you know which one you're getting?
Absolutely, yes. So the investor will receive the GPU that is pertaining to that one specific deal they're interested in. So we make sure to give them the deal or an assortment of deals. They decide what they want, and then they'll get the NFT representing that specific GPU.
And then how are they paid out from that NFT? Isn't this a security?
It is a security. That's right. And we follow all the regulations that the United States requires us to. It's a Reg D offering. But beyond that, it is a payout in USDC. So
Okay.
effectively cash.
So you find people with GPUs, you cut a deal with them. and then you're essentially tokenizing and financializing these GPUs. And then, so what's in it for the GPU provider? They get
Yeah,
cash up front.
that's a great question. Yes, they need to scale their business. They need capital. Capital can be hard to get for certain operators or certain providers, and for others, they just need quicker capital. So what we do is we offer them capital through our network of investors, and they're cool with it. What they're really getting is the ability to scale their business, serve more customers, while also just only managing the net revenue. Uh, because through this, they don't really have to worry too much about the operational expenses. So for the operator, they're just receiving the net.
Okay, and then so when you package these things up for investors, so it's one NFT to one GPU, but what if I want 100 GPUs? Do I need to buy 100 NFTs, or is there a way of, putting this into a basket?
Yeah, even great question because yes, happy to get more capital to help the operator. And yes, if you want to purchase 100 GPUs, you will be receiving 100 NFTs representing those GPUs, along with all of the revenue, or rather the net revenue, the proceeds, the liquidation rights, all of that. Yes.
Okay, and then it sits in my what KYC wallet?
That's
What are the
correct.
NFTs? Okay, and then how do the payouts happen? Where is it sent?
Yeah, that'll
Who's
be sent to your wallet on a monthly cash flow cadence.
Okay, and what's your average return on these things? So I invest in, let's say it's 100 GPUs. What would be the average return
Yeah,
annualized?
that's a great question. So, of course, every deal is unique. Every deal is individual and has its own profile of CapEx, OpEx, and revenue. Now, that being said, what we target is a minimum 20% IRR. Now, there's no promises, but that is what we target in our projections.
Okay, and then you're only responsible for the financial side of things. You're not operating these GPUs and keeping people happy when they're using them, are you?
Well, in a sense, we are because the assets actually belong on our balance sheet. So we do take risk of the assets if there is anything wrong with them. So, for example, if there's a faulty hardware, then we have to manage it. Either we're going to be using insurances or warranties, but we got to make sure that all that is good and taken care of for both the operator and the investor. And then other times, if there's upgrades or things like that, we'll have to manage that as well. And of course, liquidation, we have to take care of as well.
Wow. I mean, I understand the liquidation, but the management of the GPUs doesn't seem like a something it's easy. Um, I mean,
Yeah,
I've got some experience here, and if things go down, are you jumping in, or are you working with the operator to fix it?
the operator, certainly.
Okay, yeah, all right. So, and then the investor just sits there and collects a monthly dividend, and but does it depend on the usage of that GPU that they've I don't know what you call it, financed?
Yeah, yeah, again, a great question. Yes. Cash flow and dividend will be dependent, generally speaking, on utilization, but not always. Sometimes there is contracted revenue. So in those deals
Use
where,
it or lose it.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
For the end customer, it's use it or lose it. For the investor and the operator, it's guaranteed for contracts.
Okay, got it. All right. Yeah, I know a little bit about both sides of the market here, so that's why I'm asking very very specific questions. But okay, so walk me through. Let's say, I've got well, what's the minimum I could invest in your current process or your current system?
Yeah, good question. So far this time we don't have a minimum. When we did our pre-sale earlier, there was no minimum. But for some deals, it might be more of a headache to get small amounts of capital. At this time, there's no minimum, but for certain deals, there may be.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I guess it depends on the GPU. Because if
Yes.
you're doing an H200, and what's the newest one? I want to say Blackhawk. I know it's not, but
Yeah, the Blackwells.
Blackwell. Yeah.
Yeah, the
Uh,
Blackwells. There's a B200, there's GB200, soon the
yeah.
B300, lots and lots of new chips coming out.
Yeah. So I assume those probably have a higher minimum, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you fractionalize them. I don't know.
Yeah. That's exactly right. So our whole intention is to fractionalize this and making sure that these investments are, um, approachable for people. It would be quite ridiculous for me to suggest that a regular small investor can buy a whole server of GP200
They're
or
not going to do it. They're not even going to get access to it. So it's not going to
exactly.
happen. They're so backlogged. It ain't happening, folks. If you're listening, maybe the smaller ones, but not the H200s or Blackwells or any of the higher end ones. They're all spoken for many
Right.
times over.
Right. But we do get access to some good H200 to B200
Well,
deals.
you might because you might be working with data centers, I would imagine,
And
or
yeah,
individuals.
exactly. Yeah, with operators that do have access here, and even we also get some good access as well through our network. But to answer your question, yeah, deal size would depend on minimum check size. At this time, we don't really have one.
Okay, so walk me through the process. I go to your website. I've got, let's just say, for simplicity, 10 grand.
Yeah.
And do I search for a certain GPU that's paying me this IRR of 20%, or how does that how do I decide on which GPU and operator to back?
Yeah, great question. So right now, our website isn't displaying our deals because we're still working through the kinks and making sure that the platform is perfect before we're accepting money digitally.
Yeah,
That being said, what we would like is for you or the investor to reach out to us via email. We'll set up a call to discuss what deals we have available, and then just determine what is your preferred deal based on your own interest. And we'll present the type of information such as here's where it's hosted, here's
yeah,
what it's used for, here's the total capex, and there might be other terms such as upsizing opportunities or contracts or no contracts. Some people even prefer the fact that it's on demand because there's additional upside there.
yeah, yeah. Makes sense. Makes perfect sense to me. Okay, so and then you're paying off the wallets automatically. When do you expect the website to be completed? I know how difficult a task this is. I've done it with real estate.
Yeah.
So, how long do you anticipate the website to be ready?
Yeah, great question. I anticipate that some of our offers will be live on our website directly, I think early June.
Okay.
Um, and that being said, until that time, we can talk about deals through contracts and through paper.
Yeah. Okay. Great. Is there anything I didn't ask that I should have asked?
No, I think you've done great, Mark.
Well, I know both spaces, so that's why I wanted to have you on the show and to talk it through, just to understand it a little bit more. It is kind of what I thought, a little more nuanced, which is a good thing. Then I thought there would be a big minimum, but there isn't. You're going to fractionalize it, so that's good. So I think we were very succinct, and that's good. I think that's what people want. So where do people find you, either on social media or your website, or would you like people to learn more?
Yeah. I'd be happy if people went onto our Twitter, our LinkedIn, or our website. We're available everywhere. I think on Twitter or X, my handle is Nick Learns AI. But you can also just reach out to Compute Labs, anywhere, honestly. We're pretty much everywhere.
Okay, pretty much everywhere. Excellent. So with that, pleasure having you on the show. Glad we got to talk through this, and just keep us up to date on what you're doing, because I've got a lot of interest in it, and this is something that I've been following and working through myself for a while. So thanks again, and let's get back on here in about 3 months.
Awesome. I would love that. Thank you so much, Mark. I appreciate your time.
My pleasure.